Hello people, today I am bringing you my first WWE RAW review. Now, this is the first time I've ever done a review on something, so I hope you guys like it. I watched RAW and I also took notes down while I was watching it. I've wrote about 3 pages of notes, so let's get started on this. Okay, so WWE RAW starts with showing what happened on last week's RAW episode when chaos broke out in the ring, and also when the Big Show put Randy Orton through the announcers table. Now, what happens is Stephanie and Triple H both come out to the ring. They talk about their vacation that they've been on and whatnot. Then Randy Orton comes out, he interrupts and he complains. Next thing you know, Brad Maddox and Vicky Guerrero come out, and Brad blames the whole thing on Vicky Guerrero, so Triple H then gives them both individual matches where Maddox has to face Randy Orton and where Vicky Guerrero has to face AJ Lee. So, the match with Maddox and Orton starts straight away, and it gets underway, and basically, it's quite stupid actually, because Orton ends up getting his head hit by a microphone, and then Maddox all of a sudden just runs in the ring, gives him like a DDT, and it looks like he's about to beat Orton, but then Orton gets up and just absolutely beats the living crap out of Maddox, and he beats him so bad that Maddox ends up getting stretchered out, and then Vicky looks on as he's stretchered out. So that's the beginning part of Raw. Okay, next we have Big E Lanston versus Curtis Axel, and this is for the Intercontinental Championship. So Big E comes out, and so does Axel. The match gets underway. It's a back and forth match with Big E Lanston dominating the first 5 minutes of it. Axel comes back with a nice drop kick. He does a few nice moves here and there, but then Big E Lanston ends up picking up the win and winning the Intercontinental Championship. What did I think of that match? I thought it was an okay match. It was on the borderline of mediocre and good, but I mean, it's big things for Big E Lanston, I suppose, but not the greatest match. So yeah, we have a new Intercontinental Champion, which is always good. Curtis Axel also claims that he was only with Paul Heyman to use him to get the Intercontinental Championship. Well, he's now lost it anyway, so there goes Curtis Axel. Okay, now backstage, Randy Orton asks the Shield if they will back him, and they say that they will if he will back them. So we'll see how that continues later on. Next, it was Jerry Lawler in the ring doing a musical chairs diva thing. It wasn't really good. I didn't think it was good personally. It was just, a bit of eye candy. It was a waste of time. The only good thing about it was the fact that Oksana was there, because she's very beautiful. But anyway, it just ends up in a big scrap. Nobody wins the musical chairs. So that's that. The crowd did chant Jerry, Jerry, like, the Jerry Springer show. And then JBL was like, I'm chanting for a commercial. So I thought that was quite funny. So anyway, moving on. That wasn't too great. To be honest, I thought it was a time wasting event, but anyway, moving on. Now, the next match was Ryback versus the Big Show. What did I think of that match? I didn't think it was that great, to be honest. There's a few nice bits here and there. I mean, at first it started off as Ryback was getting dominated by the Big Show, manhandled. Ryback ends up, being a coward, hiding outside the ring for a bit. He comes in, he knocks the Big Show on his ass. He then gets him up for the shell shock. Big Show kicks out. Big Show Irish whips him into a WMD, and that's the match, really. It was okay, but again, borderline mediocre. Nothing too special. Okay. And then, at the end of the match, Randy Orton did come in and he tried to attack the Big Show, but it just didn't work out. So, yeah. That was that. Okay, moving on. Then, what we had backstage, we had Zack Ryder, who, barely wrestles a match these days, talking to the Nashville band that they had on there. I believe they're called Georgia Line, or something like that. I didn't pay too much attention to the band, but yeah. So yeah, and then we have Orton backstage complaining again with an ice pack in the doctor's room. Again, it wasn't nothing special. So, moving on. We then had Real America, which is the team of Cesaro and Swagger, and they took on Kofi Kingston and The Miz. At first, The Miz was wrestling, and then Kofi then got tagged in, and then Kofi was in trouble. He went for the tag, but The Miz ended up giving him the short arm and screwed over Kofi. So The Miz completely screwed over Kofi Kingston and just dropped off the ring and just ended up, watching Kofi lose the match. Okay, moving on. So then we have Vicky Guerrero faking an illness and trying to get out of her match. She is then stretchered and taken to the ring to face AJ Lee. AJ Lee just ends up getting her into the Black Widow submission and she taps quite fast. It was a stupid as fuck match. Absolute crap. So yeah, let's move on from that. And apparently there's going to be a 7-on-7 match at Survivor Series. It's going to be the Divas all against each other. And we also have a tag team men's Survivor Series match coming up as well. So yeah. Anyway, the next match was Triple H arranged for Dolph Ziggler and Damien Sandow to be in a Broadway brawl match, and basically the ring is filled with guitars and drums and just things like that. The match was decent. I thought it was good. I liked how Sandow picked up the guitar, and was trying to hit Ziggler with it at first, and then they ended up hitting each other with the instruments. It was fairly good. So the match is back and forth with the instruments. In the end, it ended up with Dolph Ziggler. So Dolph Ziggler uses the bass drum over Sandow's head, and then that's pretty much it for the match. Dolph Ziggler wins. I thought it was an entertaining match. I didn't think it was anything spectacular, but I did think it was one of the better matches of the night. So yeah, it wasn't a bad match. Okay, then the next thing was John Cena came out to the ring with his sling around his arm, his fake injury, and his World Heavyweight title. And the crowd give a mixed reaction, but it was mainly more, I heard mainly more boos than cheers in Nashville, so I don't know what you guys think, but yeah, we all know that John Cena is not the lovable wrestler that he once was, you know. We're pretty much tired of seeing him as a face. We'd rather see him as a heel, you know, do something different for once instead of repeating him all the goddamn time. But yeah, so John Cena comes out, he starts talking about, you know, what Del Rio did to him, and next thing you know, Del Rio does come out to the ring. He mocks John Cena, he calls him a superhero. It's quite funny. And they end up having a bit of a scrap and a brawl. Nothing happens, it's just promoting, you know, Survivor Series. So yeah, that happens. And then you've got that band again, that Georgia Lions backstage. And then the Rhinestone Cowboys, the three-man band. Drew McIntyre, Jinder Mahal, Heath Slater. They're all backstage, you know, saying to Georgia Lines they think that they're a real band and, you know, all that crap. It's funny, I guess, but yeah. So, there's that. And then Triple H and Stephanie McMahon tell Randy Orton that he won't be being backed at Survivor Series by the Shield or by them, and that if he is the face of the WWE, he will have to do everything by himself to win that match against the Big Show. So yeah. And then we have the tag match, the final match, the 12-man tag match. It was a decent match. I actually thought it was the best match of the night. You know, it had some great wrestlers in it. I mean, we had CM Punk, Bryan, Cody Rhodes, Goldust, the Usos, you know, against the Shield and the Wyatt family. Okay, so this is how the match started out. Dean Ambrose and Jimmy Uso start out the match. Back and forth action. Then Roman Reigns is tagged in, Goldust is tagged in. They scrap a bit. Next thing you know, Seth Rollins comes in, delivers some nice moves. And all of a sudden, Seth Rollins argues with one of the Wyatt family. I think it was Harper that he argues with. So there's a communication breakdown in that match between the Shield and the Wyatt family. But they managed to get things back on track. So it's back and forth action until Daniel Bryan steps in and he creates a massive, you know, tension in the audience. He delivers some nice moves. All of a sudden then, you know, he's knocked down by the Wyatt family. He then manages to make a tag to CM Punk. CM Punk comes in, you know, cleans house. Back and forth action. It ends up in everybody doing their finishing moves to each other. It was quite cool how they did it. And the match ends with Punk hitting a GTS. So, yeah, it was very nice. And then, after this has happened, Real America come out. And they help the Wyatt family and the Shield attack, you know, the good guys. Punk, Bryan, Goldust, Rhodes, and the Usos, who have just won the match, end up getting attacked. And then all of a sudden, you hear Rey Mysterio's music, and Rey makes his return, and he just completely cleans house. Next thing you know, all the good guys are just cleaning house, and yeah, the Raw episode ends like that. It was a strange way to bring back Rey Mysterio, but I suppose it was quite effective, and I think that Rey saved this Raw episode in a way. So, judging on what I have watched today, I'm going to have to give this Raw episode 3 out of 5 stars. The pros are Ray returns, entertainment, we had a new champ, and we had bid plus best in the world. The cons of this Raw were time-wasting events, not focused on the wrestling, mediocre matches, and too much Survivor Series promoting. Apparently the promoting was not good enough, and I don't think sales are going to generate as well for Survivor Series. But yeah, anyway, a 3 out of 5 stars Raw review right here. And yeah, I hope you guys like this. If you do, please hit the like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be bringing you some more reviews. There's going to be a SmackDown review and a TNA Impact review. I'll be doing them weekly. And I will also be bringing you daily news of wrestling as well. I am the Super Vampire Heart, 666. Peace.